Alright, hello everyone, welcome to my second video. Today I'm going to go into more depth on how I did dynamic lighting, how I did contextual guidance, how I created a consistent dreary mood through the level by using lighting, and how I basically made the level into an actor, and how I did a sound system and a hiding system. Alright, let's jump into it. As you can see here, I use dynamic lighting to exaggerate proportions of the level. Here you can see I have made the hallway look a lot longer than what it is. I have put dreary colors together, making slight lights throughout the hallway. As you can see here, I put a fog in the middle of it to cancel out the middle between the two hallways and make it seem like a endless hallway of some sort. So I use dynamic lighting to make the rooms more confined to a player. I also use contextual lighting to make it the highlights jump off of certain objects I have here, because I use the objects to push the player where they need to go because they have to go in certain rooms to find objects they need, and that's why I put the objects where here. I also put some lighting here to push the player where they need to go, like here for example. Here, be able to find the objects that they need so they can beat the level. Also interact with objects by picking them up, like you can see here. To push objects out of their way, or use them to their advantage by pushing them in front of doors. As you can see here, it pushes it out of the way so they can get through, but they can also push it in front of the door whenever a monster is chasing them. A sprinting system with sound to it. After they run out of energy, they will only be able to walk. And use a hiding system so they are able to get away from the monster while their energy builds up. Like so. They can look around the locker and get in and out of it at any time. Let's get into the blueprint for this. We're going to start with the sprinting and sound system blueprint, which is in the first person character blueprint. Here, this is just saying how fast the character can run and how slow they'll walk. This is grabbing the energy and draining the energy and only working whenever only be checking it whenever the character is running. This is draining the energy as long as the character running, dropping it by 4 increments. This is just playing the sound whenever the character hits shift while they are running. Here is the energy levels. This is the higher energy, which is only going to play the low breathing. Medium, going to play medium breathing, and as it gets lower, it's going to play the heavy breathing. Once it hits 1, it's going to go into where the player can only walk and make them stop running. As they walk, it's going to be checking the energy. This is the durations of the sounds, which is up here. I put in the sounds up here. Whenever I am not hitting the shift button, it's going to stop it completely and won't play any of the sounds as long as I'm not running. Here is the locker blueprint. This is just saying whenever the player gets into the locker, this is going to play the sequence of them getting to the locker, how fast it's going to open and how fast it's going to close. This is the angle of closing and opening the door. This is just getting the relative location of rotation of the door, so it looks more natural. This is the toggle hide here. The toggle hide is basically just, if they get into the locker, they are hidden in the game. Whenever they get back out of the locker, they are back to being visible into the game. This is a camera I have made. This is going from first person to the camera inside the locker, so it looks more natural inside. This is only letting them move it up and down a certain amount. This is only letting them move it side to side a certain amount, because you want it to look natural and you don't want it to phase out of the locker going over to how they can pick up and move objects. This is getting the world location, so whenever I do pick up the objects, it's not going to blur it out, and it's just going to follow along as long as I have the ragdoll hooked up to it. Getting the ragdoll location for it, and this is getting a mass of things that I am allowing the player to pick up. They can only pick up anything under the mass of this. And this is just getting the location of everything I pick up, so whenever I put it down, it's not going to go off in the level somewhere, and it's just going to stay where I drop it. Here is my ragdoll I made. Something pretty cool I did with this, I put a physics constraint on it, so whenever the player does interact with it, it makes it harder for the player to move them. They can drag them along, but it will be a little bit difficult because it has a linear damp on them to make it harder for them to move. But yeah, that is all the blueprints I have for now. And the next week I will be adding more assets to the game so the player can interact with them. And what I mean by that, I will be adding like drawer system and cabinet system for them to search through and find more objects for them so they can beat the game. But I hope you guys enjoyed and have a wonderful day. Thank you.